Hello, everyone. Ohio gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohio Anime. My name is John, and we're going to talk about anime tonight, particularly Dandadan. So let's get our friends in here right away. Andrew and Phil, how's it going?
Hey, dude.
Great.
Yeah, Andrea says they sound a bit hollow and funky. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, you do.
I feel like
Yeah.
Do you think it's the hair causing it somehow?
I think it's.
I like it, by the way.
This is not your normal rich dulcet tones, John.
No.
This sounds a bit like my 3-year-old playing fairy princess robot at dinner, and she's attempting to do what you're doing right now.
How's that? Any different?
Yes, it was super quiet for a second, and now I think you're louder again.
Probably auto readjusted here.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. I'm not
while
sure.
While you're playing with that, Phil, I
Yeah.
love your outfit. It's like
Yep.
perfect. It's two beautiful things that shouldn't be together but are. And yeah, it's working. I love it.
Good, thank you. It's just cozy. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wintry.
Cozy is
holiday
key, man.
festive.
Yeah,
Football
I
season.
love it. Yep.
Yeah,
We're still alive. We're in the playoffs, man. We're still alive.
Oh, how'd that happen? Someone lost?
Yeah. New. No,
No.
it's because the NFC North is dominant this year, except for the Bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are the epitome of the I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I didn't do shit meme.
Nice. Okay. Well, let
Sorry,
me know if
Bears.
my audio
Sorry,
gets,
it wasn't your year.
No.
Let me know if my audio gets funky again. Otherwise,
Sure.
hopefully
They
it's
sound better
all
now.
fixed.
Yeah, you sound back to normal.
Okay, well, it's been a while since we've had. There's Phil in his
Hell.
giant glass.
Yep.
2 drinks. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, what's happening there? You got iced tea in one and whiskey in the other.
Something like that.
Okay, nice. Well, yeah, we're gonna talk about Dandadan today, but I think Phil's been busy watching a lot of anime, so we'll definitely get to what everybody else has been watching. And Phil, we haven't talked in a bit, so you should let us know how your holiday's been. How we kind of fill everybody in on the regular show if people watch that, Andrea and I on Christmas, anyways. But how was your Christmas and New Year?
It was nice. Yeah, family time. We celebrate with my family usually over Thanksgiving, so it's just easier to split it up. My family's all kind of spread out around the Upper Midwest. So, and then we usually, so we spend actual Christmas with my in-laws and various subsets of her family. Yeah, so it was really nice. It was really good, relaxing, lots of fun presents and stuff, but a lot of good time spent. And dating the girls are off school for a couple weeks, so good stuff.
So on the regular podcast, Andrea and I talked a little bit about Santa Claus. Where are the girls at with Santa Claus?
That's a great question. I thought this year, my older daughter, who's 9, almost 9.5, would start to kind of, I think she's starting to not fully believe, but she hasn't really said anything about it. She hasn't asked. I think she's afraid to ask, but I think I've noticed, like, when we're talking about Santa, or like we were at my my in-laws and they had like a friend dressed up as Santa, and she was like less like, oh, Santa. So I think she kind of has this like sense, but she hasn't said anything yet. But I think this might have been the last year. But I mean, I think they still believe. Certainly, my younger daughter does. She's 6, 6.5. But it's like I think they understand that it's not like every Santa's like the real Santa.
Right. Yeah.
And like they know that like I dressed up as the Easter Bunny for our like local community park Easter egg hunt event, and they are aware that it's me.
What?
But I know, but they still believe in the Easter Bunny.
Illusion shattered.
They just think I'm dressing up as Easter Bunny. They don't think that the Easter Bunny isn't real. So I don't know.
Sure.
You need a cop friend to arrest you for Easter Bunny impersonation.
I mean, not friends, but yeah, very good. Mm-hmm.
No, what you really got to do is keep the chain going and have a friend just dress up as the cop.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Yeah.
Then a real cop arrests them for impersonating a police
Right.
officer.
Exactly.
It'll be a fun story.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Whatever you got to do to sell the illusion, whatever it takes.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Well, Andrea, any fun New Year's, anything go on?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I made it up till midnight, and that felt like an accomplishment.
Nice.
I really enjoyed. So Chris and I were not watching any like countdown programs until maybe the last like 5 minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
And all of them were off. So like we were like expecting the countdown. We poured like a glass of champagne. We were looking at our watches, and like all the countdowns we were watching were just like doing like a musical number. Somebody was doing an interview, and we're like, it's 12:59. Like nobody said anything.
Wow.
Or it's 11:59.
Oh, okay.
And and so we were like, what? And so like we're flipping around different like programs trying to find somebody who has a countdown. And all of a sudden, like we're mid flip, and I looked at my watch, and it like did the fireworks, and so we were like, what? Like Happy New Year? Question? What?
Mm-hmm.
So it was very odd.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all did it just like 2 minutes late. So that was a very weird like.
Were you
start to this
streaming
year.
Or was it like cable?
No, it was like cable TV because we did. So we looked at CNN because we were trying to find Anderson Cooper and Andy. Yeah, and
Sure.
like we thought there was just some like random interview happening. So we thought, okay, it's streaming on Max. Maybe they're on Max. So we went to Max. No, it was like the exact same duplication of the live cable. So we switched back over to live cable at 11:59, and nobody.
You need a little patience because that's funny you say this because we were at the bar we were at. There was this table that was minding their own business or whatever, and all of a sudden they're like, "Happy New Year's!" Just them, like the four
funny
or whatever, And then everybody's like, because the TV was counting down yet.
Oh, sure.
And it was like 15 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever at that point.
And the bar at midnight.
And then the bar blew up when it counted down, and then they were all confused because they were just paying attention to like their watch and phone, and said Happy New Year when it was actually Happy New Year when it struck midnight. But the rest of the bar just adhered to the television's lateness,
right,
and did the countdown with them. So
because they're normal. Yeah. Because they're normal people who just like go with the flow instead of the exact. We must cheer exactly at midnight.
I don't know. I get it. Like if you're not paying attention to the TV and you're like looking at your group thing,
like the confusion came because nobody even mentioned a countdown. It was so casual, just like middle of an interview, somebody was performing. So I was like, are we not?
It's like they up the delay factors in case something nuts happened. So but that's because I've never had that happen that I recall. Like TVs can be off from streaming to satellite to cable. A little different. It's a delay, but
it was things like it's just what is time? It's just like a construct.
Well, I'm gonna settle in. Just let Phil go.
Time is a flat circle.
Delta 9 mug is what he's got in his drink. Delta 9 soda or whatever they make.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just an odd feeling. We were already feeling off kilter by like not watching, kind of countdowns. We had taken a nap earlier because we had a particularly tiring day. So it's just like a compounding weirdness to starting the new year. But whatever.
Okay. Nice. Well, I'm glad everybody's time was good.
You were out at a bar. Go you.
Yeah.
I was tired. I was very tired. Like I hit the like last year was a pretty big deal. It's like we get to get out for New Year's, The kids were extra young yet, and we did like a chef's tasting New Year's thing at Hi, and then went to Sweeney's afterwards. Just finished up the night. So we're gonna do the same thing again, except Hi was not open this year, so we did Moscow on the Hill. And delicious,
classic.
Of course. Yep, that was a lot of fun. It was great, but I mispaced the drinks a little bit. By the time we got to Sweeney's, I was just kind of wearing off. I was just exhausted.
Sure.
So,
some vodka flights.
I did not do that. Back when Tara used to live around there, we wanted to do that, and we could walk back to her place. But
I think we did there. We went there once for something or other, and I think we did then, didn't we? Just a couple years ago.
I've never done vodka flights there. I've had vodka there, obviously, but never a flight.
Well, John, we shall do that.
Yeah, okay. I know Dana and I did for a girls' night once. That was very fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love their vodka flights. Those are good.
Yeah.
Zakuski.
There was
like their charcuterie board.
Yeah, we did get that. So you did get the big
good
appetizer board thing. Yeah.
Pickled vegetables, if I recall.
Yep.
Good cheeses, meats. Yeah.
Well, this show isn't about Russia, but it's about different culture. It's Japan in particular.
Yeah.
So anime, one of their big entertainment sources, exports. Phil, I know you've been watching a lot.
I have, and I've been preparing to watch a lot because I'm really excited about the kind of winter lineup.
Okay.
I like that you're preparing.
I have my definitive list of what people should be excited for.
He's hydrating in advance.
Yep, I've just been preparing. Yeah. I've been training. Taping my eyes open.
Yep.
I was going to say, just like little...
Right. Yep.
Give me some reps.
Yeah, there has been a lot of announcements for sure. Not necessarily of the winter season. I haven't seen as much of that, but just in general, season 2s and such coming next year and whatever. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, I can tell you a little bit what I've been watching, and then what my definitive list, and I actually have dates of when different shows are releasing and stuff of the ones that are announced. Obviously, the viewers want to hear that stuff, that content, and I know for sure our friend Anthony definitely does because we were texting about it earlier. So.
Yeah,
is his name Anthony officially?
As far as I know, it's just Tony.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it doesn't got to be Anthony.
Well, traditionally, it is.
So is your name Philip?
Yes.
It is. Okay. It's just got to be the longer version. See, this is why it's in your head that you think my name is Jonathan. You're just it must be the longest iteration.
Actually, Jonathan, I don't always think of as Jonathan's because one of my brothers is John, and it's just John.
Okay.
And he's John, Jon, just Jon, John. That's it. It's weird because I think in the Bible it's John, and my parents are super Catholic, so.
They want a little twist on
little twist. Just make it. Just keep it interesting. All right. So, I've been watching, obviously, Dandadan, which we know. I am in the middle of Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I finally decided to watch that.
Nice.
Obviously, it's been out for a couple years, but it's really good. It's violent, but it's not the type of violence where I'm like, ugh. So. I'm watching Ranma 1/2, the remake, which I know not everyone thought needed to happen, but it's also quite good. So, I discovered this. Well, I didn't discover it. It's known, but did we talk about this last podcast? A show called The Witch and the Beast.
No.
Witch and the Beast.
No, I don't think so.
Really good. It's really good. I don't think a lot of people talked about it. I just kind of read about it. It was literally, I watched one of those YouTube videos where they're like, this is the top 5 underrated anime that people aren't talking about. And then in the comments, people were talking about that one specifically. And the people were like, bro, this is actually so good. You can learn a lot from the YouTube comment section. Anyway.
Sometimes.
sometimes. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's kind of like a fantasy. It's a little steampunky fantasy, not isekai, which is nice, refreshing. Yeah, I don't mind isekai, but so really good. I recommend it for sure. I watched it a couple months ago. I couldn't give you the details of the premise now, but it's definitely worth people's time. And then just recently, I watched Skeleton Knight in Another World, which is silly. It's like a silly premise, but it was quite good. It was basically this guy who played this video game, like was transported into this video game. Oldest story in the book. But basically, he gets transported to this other world as like a skeleton, like in like this big suit of armor, and he like ends up like becoming friends with this elf woman, and they like save a bunch of like a young elf girl. It's actually kind of a dark premise. They're like saving a bunch of young elf women from like sex traffickers. It's terrible, but like the humans in this are very bad, and he's like a human technically, but he's from Japan. But no one knows it, so he's like pretending like he's from. So he uses like different voice, like I'm this knight, and I use this deep voice in the classical way they talk here. But then his inner monologue is just like modern day Japanese guy. It's quite funny. So it's pretty cool because he's just like, I mean, I don't want to murder people because I'm just like this normal guy, but like sex traffickers, I have no problem and qualms about that. So and he's super super OP, so he'll just like show up and just murder these horrible guys who are being horrible. So doesn't get too I mean, there's like some scenes where it's like a little icky, but it's not, I don't think, like Goblin Slayer level from what I've heard.
Sure.
So that he always shows up in time before anything real bad happens to these girls. So
yeah, that's pretty high bar to meet.
Goblin Slayer, right?
Goblin Slayer, yeah.
So I think that's mostly right now.
So you're done with 12. You're done with 12 Kingdom. You're done with 12 Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, and I finished. I watched. I watched 12th Kingdom, and I finished 12th Kingdom, which is really good. It kind of ends a little bit like, I don't know. It's an interesting show where they'll have like these almost like side story arcs that don't necessarily connect back with the main plot yet. And I think I've heard that they actually just didn't finish it in anime form. Like the manga goes further, and I guess the manga's not even done, and that's on like a hiatus. So, I've heard people online speculate that like this show actually deserves a remake. Like it's really good, and deserves a remake and deserves to be finished. Whether it actually will or not, I don't know. But it's good. It's a little bit slower paced, but it's really cool. It's a very cool world. Technically it's isekai, but it's like one of the original ones, like even before Sword Art Online even.
I didn't realize it had any isekai elements to it.
Yeah,
like have you seen Inuyasha?
No.
Is it okay, I was wondering if it's isekai like that, because that's just sort of, I mean,
it's this woman. She's like a teenager in a high school in Japan, and literally some dude comes and is like, "You're a queen in my world," and like brings her back to the other world, and then she it's a full on. It is, but it's
more.
It's like intentional instead of like accidental.
Right.
Yeah, and then
like a high schooler going to another world.
Sure, and it's not as like goofy and campy as some of the more modern isekai are. Like
and the modern stuff, like really that ingrained it in our brains, like you say, like Sword Art Online stuff, really brought in the video game aspect. You know, it's like, okay, I'm sucked into some sort of game, or I'm involved in the game is like real life or whatever. To me, I would feel better about. I wouldn't feel the same sort of, I'm tired of isekai and I don't want to watch this, when it's something that's like a parallel world, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, I understand like that's a fine line. It's just, it's like in Inuyasha, Kagome would jump in. She fell in this well or whatever, and through the well, like brought her to basically like a feudal Japan kind of fantasy setting type of thing. Yeah. And
it's probably more similar to that, and it's a pretty it's a more serious tone, I would say, and more just serious storyline generally. There's no like It's not like overly dark and like depressing and disturbing, but it's not like funny. There's no chibi stuff.
Yeah, it's older. It's again, that's why I'm like, it's on the top of my to watch kind of now, because it's just, I want to go back to some of those 70s through 90s, even early 2000s anime. And
this is true 2000s.
Yeah,
it's quite good, but it moves a little slow at times, but it's super interesting. Like, it's very there, it's like one of those shows where it's like there's so many new, the creator just made up all these different words and terms for all these different things. So for the first probably dozen episodes, I was like constantly referencing the wiki to like remember what that word meant and what this word meant. And it's good though. I mean, it's quite good.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Before we get to your outlook for 2025, Andrea, you been watching anything at all other than Dandadan?
Oh gosh, nothing. Unfortunately, nothing anime related. No, I mean anime adjacent. I finished season 1 of Arcane so that I can start season 2.
Oh, okay.
And it was very important because I feel like there were some details that I think I could have recalled and some that I don't think I would have. So I feel nicely. Yeah, I rewatched all of season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel like very set up for season 2 and like ready to start it, which is like where I'm at right now. So I'm pumped, and I feel like I only have a short amount of time because so much is coming out so early in January.
Yeah, I would watch it now.
I'm honestly shocked at how much. Well, no, or just
right after the podcast, immediately after the podcast ends.
You'd be able to tell if I was watching something. You'd just see my face be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, for sure, especially with
there were so many good
Arcane
things.
Yeah.
Oh, you did watch Arcane season 2.
I did.
Right.
I forgot to mention that. It's not technically anime, so I didn't think about it.
Well, because it's adjacent. So but it was fun to rewatch season 1. Like I said, there were so many like fine details that I forgot or only recalled in the moment. And then Chris also got to watch a bunch with me.
Oh, nice.
Because I thought he had watched it, but apparently he was like, no, I think the last, anime adjacent thing that he watched that wasn't anime just with me was Castlevania Nocturne. So I was very convinced that he had also watched Arcane, but he hadn't. Sure. So he got to see it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Nice. Did you watch season 2, John?
No.
You didn't? Oh, okay. It's quite good.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, so I gotta finish Dune, and then pick some other anime probably to watch, and then I suppose it could be that too.
Yeah, but there's no rush. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no. Well, I was so behind on watching season 1. Like Andrew and I have talked about that. I came to it really late for whatever reason. I don't remember when it came out, but
in a very shocking twist, I watched it and was like, John, get on it, and he just wouldn't.
Yeah, it took a while. So, yeah, I really wish it was released weekly. Then it's like I would have started it. Yeah. I would have been like, oh well, episode 1 is out. Let's go. Let's get that one down, and then it would have been a manageable thing. Now it's like, well, the season's out. If I'm going to watch it, I'm going to watch it, and that's people could talk about it longer. It's sort of irrelevant now. We're bringing it up, but no one else brings it up otherwise because it didn't have a run. It just was out. They spent I don't know what the gap was. They spent years making this thing. It's like the most expensive animation project ever, basically. And then they just shit it out in one go. Yep. And it's done. So, all right.
People should still watch it. It's quite.
Oh yeah.
Quite good. It's wild, but
I will not be making the time to rewatch season 1. I guarantee.
I didn't either. I that's a great idea, Andrea.
It's good. It's so good. It flows easier once you know what I mean? Like there were some parts where I was like, oh shoot, I need to pay attention because I forgot this. And there were some that I was like, okay, like backgroundy, I can turn my attention elsewhere. So it was very nice.
if
I have a hard time
like,
rewatching stuff because there's so much other stuff I want to watch.
I know it felt too long. Like Arcane just felt.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
But yeah,
personally have a hard
it
time
is hard.
doing it. Yeah,
it is hard.
Back in the
Chris
day,
and I
it
also
wasn't an
decided
issue.
to rewatch Witcher season 3,
Ooh.
and I think when we had watched it initially, like we did one of those things where we shut off the television but didn't shut off Netflix because Netflix said we were really far in the season.
Oh.
And we started rewatching and we were like, remember this one? I remember this one. And then by like episode 4, we were like, no, we did not. This is brand new information.
Sure.
And Netflix was like, you've watched 7 episodes. We were like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we've been rewatching / watching new Witcher content, which is fun because, man, Henry Cavill's good. It's also not fun because I got a couple first looks at Liam Hemsworth and
Not good.
Yeah, I'm unhappy. I forgot how much I like love everybody in the universe, though. Like, it's not just about Geralt. Like, I forgot how much I love like Jaskier, and like even Ciri. Like, their relationship gets good in season 3. So like,
yeah, Jaskier and Ciri.
Yes, the people that you know. But like, but it's so good, and it's such like an ensemble cast, and so that made it better and worse because then I was like, but they're all so good, so they'll still like have these relationships, but also Liam Hemsworth stepping in is just God.
Well,
I guess I'm happy that I'm happy we got season 1 of that. Like, I enjoyed season 1 for what it was, and so, but it was also just kind of like got my hopes up just to dash them later. So yeah,
it also got my hopes up and like crushed again when Henry Cavill was like, I'm leaving to go be Superman, and then James Gunn was like, no, you're not. And I was like, ouch. Yeah. And then everybody was like, oh, you're coming back to Witcher then? And he was like, no, I'm not. And it was like, oh,
he didn't leave for Superman. He was told he was going to allegedly be Superman yet. So he would have been Geralt and Superman.
But like that was the thing that they put out, I think, to like soften it was like, oh, he's going back to be Superman, and everybody.
Didn't he leave because there were like major disagreements?
He left. Yeah, he left because of creative differences, which I think they were like covering it. But like, I didn't dig very deeply at first, so I just thought like, oh, he's gonna go be Superman, and then double blow.
Yeah. I heard he's kind of
hard to work with. We don't need to talk about DC because that's a whole different can of worms.
I know. It wouldn't be a cast without me ragging on DC. Just like for a while there, it wasn't a cast without us mentioning Star Wars at some point.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Bebop, which I plan to mention in this podcast.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I have a friend at the gym that's
We're just rolling all the dice.
It's funny. They're
starting Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah. You know, a lot of the friends
like
at
the
the
OG,
gym are
the
younger.
action.
Yeah, the original. Oh. Yeah. And she's like, hey, has anybody watched this? That was funny. Has anybody watched this? I'm thinking about starting it. I'm like,
hilarious.
You've asked the right person. But yeah, it just shows that like this is the.
Y'all heard about this show, Cowboy Bebop?
Bebop.
Anybody familiar with that?
Well, it was such a big thing.
The Cowboy
for
Bebop
our age group,
Yeah. No, I know.
That like really changed the landscape of anime for people our age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you go down 10 years, all of a sudden it's like there's been so many things since that. And how many people do actively, how long do you have to be an anime fan before you actively go and revisit classics?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I kind of did that like a year ago when I went and watched like Trigun and I was watching like Neon Genesis Evangelion and some of those classics. I haven't seen all the classics, but trying to work through some of the more seminal ones. And that's probably a couple years in, I guess. I mean, I always say I'm like new to anime, but I can't say that anymore. I guess I've watched a ton, and I've been watching it for quite a few years. So
you're not a lifer. You can never achieve the title, unfortunately. But you're absolutely totally an anime fan. You watch, all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, true.
Okay, so 2025. Andrea, do you have aspirations to watching some other shows? If suddenly Phil's got a list of things coming that he's very excited for.
You will have aspirations after I tell you my list, Andrea.
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, I have very simple at the moment aspirations. There's so much coming out with season 2s. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited about so many season 2 shows coming out right away in January. I mean, Apothecary Diaries, I don't know is right away in January, but I know is soon. And then, is that January 10th?
January 10th.
Okay.
9th or 10th.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Kaiju number 8 is coming out. Solo Leveling is coming out.
January?
Yep. July 2025 for Kaiju number 8.
Yep.
Same timeline as Dandadan.
Yep.
Second. You guys heard that they're doing a second season of Dandadan in July?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Already? Okay. Yeah.
Wait, in July. Okay.
In July.
Wait.
In July.
Okay. So
July.
Kaiju
January and July.
July, yes.
Apothecary Diaries is January.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Solo Leveling, I believe, is also January.
Yes.
My Happy Marriage is January.
Oh my god, I forgot. I had to watch that special thing you talked about.
Watch it. It's gonna transition you.
That's good, Andrea.
Yes. There's a bit of a lag. Yes, she would. There's a bit of a lag in the middle, and then it's gonna pick back up for the final couple of episodes.
Cool.
So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, My Happy Marriage. Yeah.
Sorry? My Happy Marriage again.
Yeah, no, we talked about that one, and it. I think we were both on the same page. It was sort of like had like a weird bit in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you guys would enjoy it. Apothecary is better though. I'm excited for Apothecary.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
my
all-time favorite, and it's obviously great. I like it a lot too. But all on board with Apothecary season 2 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Well, see, how do I have time for Arcane?
Seasons.
Because that's like next week then that Apothecary is starting.
Well, I mean, it depends. Yeah, I mean, we personally probably won't start Apothecary for a couple weeks because we watched all of season 1 in English, and I really just prefer to continue in the medium that we started.
I wonder what the pacing of that will be. I wonder what the cadence.
I did not watch that one in English.
Or a couple weeks behind. So
I did not watch that one in English.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Well, then it'll be cool.
I don't know. I'm kind of bouncing all around. Like I used to be very strictly like Japanese with subtitles, and now I don't know. Like I said, I kind of bounce around. Like Dandadan, I watched in English.
Yeah, same.
But like Solo Leveling, I didn't.
Same.
So it's just I don't know. Did you just kind of go with it sometimes?
Sometimes I don't want to wait, and sometimes I don't mind waiting. And if I started in Japanese, I really don't usually mind because and I've certainly had shows. One Punch Man is a great example where I started in Japanese. Accidentally, I'd watched like 8 or 9 episodes. Accidentally started an episode in English, and I was like, ugh, I don't like this at all. So it's just what you're used to. I think what you first start the show in, and
well, I mean, I think there's times where you can go either way. Like you guys, I know, watched JJK in English for a while, and then it like wasn't available. So you were F it, like I'm going to Japanese. Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
Or like I started Death Note in English, and like the laughing of certain characters, like the evil laugh, I'll never not like just. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Oh. And so we had to switch to Japanese, and it was so much better.
Okay.
So, sometimes it's just like you have a visceral reaction either way, but
for sure. I really like Momo's voice in English, the English actress' voice. And so I think I'll enjoy it more if I watch it in English, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I did watch it the last couple in Japanese. She didn't want to wait. But.
Sure. I started actually Dandadan in Japanese, and then I switched to English, and I prefer it now.
Yeah, sure. I can believe it.
But, it just kind of, sometimes you have strong feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not this. I mean, it's not the same game it was, a while back, a decade or two ago. Like the voice acting has dramatically improved in the English dubs. Now you have an issue with them like changing stuff too much potentially, but they sometimes did that back in the day too. So now, like for me, generally, I veer towards English unless it's a heavy drama, and or if I hear that they're changing too much, then I'll take a switch. Or if I suspect they're changing too much, sometimes it's like, oh, that sounds really weird. Maybe I'll just switch to
sometimes
Japanese.
Sometimes you can tell through the scripting, like the lines are just too like that's jarring or awkwardly put together. So
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Well, so Phil, what else is coming out? We must see.
Definitive list right here. Okay, yeah, we already talked about Soul Leveling season 2. Comes out January 4th or 5th. It's unclear to me like which day it airs in Japan and which day it actually airs, but January 4th or 5th, so that's coming out soon. A show I mentioned a couple months ago, it's called, or maybe I never mentioned it on the show, maybe I just mentioned it in our thread, in our text thread for the pod, but it's called Beheneko, Beheneko, Beheneko. But the longer name is The Elf Girl's Cat is Secretly an S-Ranked Monster.
Oh, yes. I remember you talking about this.
Might not be for everyone.
This is that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
When's that come out?
The premise sounds hilarious. So technically, I think is I don't know if it's I think it's technically isekai because it's like, but I don't think it's a modern day person. I think it's like a knight who dies and gets transported into the body of this S-ranked beast, or an S-ranked monster, but he looks like a kitten. And then this elf girl like adopts him, and he spends a lot of time like sleeping on her very large chest. I don't know. It looks very funny. Looks up my alley. Oh, sorry.
It's warm there.
It's exactly right. No, it's totally fine. But I think like it's like a legit like monster. So I think he's like super OP. So I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be fun and hilarious.
When's that come out?
January 4th.
Oh,
I can't find. I saw like a Crunchyroll press release about it online, but there's also something about it maybe being on what's that other main High Dive, yeah. So I'm not sure what service. I really hope it's coming to Crunchyroll. I think it's coming to Crunchyroll, but I can't really find a lot of other like. I can't find anything like definitive about that. But
okay, what was that one called again? So I'll put it in my calendar.
The Elf Girl's Cat is Secretly an S-Ranked Monster.
Okay.
I know it sounds ridiculous, and I'm sure it will be, but it's gonna be great. It's gonna be good stuff. There's a show called Zenshu. You guys maybe heard of it. It's Mappa's new anime, and it's about this manga artist who like. It's all about kind of the industry, the manga industry, and how artists get overworked. So this artist like dies working, and then like gets transported into the anime she was working on. It's supposed to be really good. It's like quite anticipated, and it's supposed to be quite popular. So it looks. I watched a trailer for it. It looks gorgeous, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
Initially, I thought it was just about like the life of a manga artist, and I wasn't as interested. But the whole premise of her dying and getting transported into the manga she was writing and creating is fascinating. So, and then there's like this whole premise, I think, where she's like, "Well, I know how this ends, and it's not good, and I can't change it." But I think she does learn how to change it from within the world she had created, because she's still technically the author. I don't know. It looks cool. It looks really cool. So that's Zenshu, January 5th. My Heavy Marriage Season 2, January 6th. There's a show I've been seeing all over the place on message boards and stuff and like lists. It's called Honey Lemon Soda. I think it's like a rom-com, like a kind of a romance, high school kind of romance. But apparently the manga is super popular. I don't know that I'll watch it for sure. I think Dana would like it. I mean, people who like romance animes, I watch some, but it's not exclusively something I watch. But it's supposed to be really good. The show that I really interesting to try this. I'm not sure if I'll like it. It's called Ubel Blot. It's coming to Amazon Prime, but I saw an article that said it's the spiritual successor to Attack on Titan. But it's nothing like Attack on Titan. It's like a dark fantasy.
Did they clarify that?
Not
bold
really. I
statement?
think just like the vibe. I think it's
Okay.
kind of a gritty, fairly violent, but it looks. I watched the trailer. It looks cool. So
Okay.
yeah, it's UBELBLATT.
Okay.
Ubelblatt. Sounds kind of German, but I don't think it's German anime.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, do they make anime in Germany? I don't think so.
I mean, there's German-based anime, but
They're like German animation. Nah, it doesn't matter.
Uberblatt.
Okay. This next one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most, coming out January 11th, Sakamoto Days.
Oh, okay.
Sakamoto Days. It's about this like former assassin. I mean, this has kind of been done before, but this one apparently looks really good in the manga. Super popular. It's supposed to be excellent. I think it looks, from what I can tell from trailers and stuff, it looks like top notch, like animation and art. But it's this like former contract killer assassin guy who gets out of the game, falls in love, has a kid, and then he's just like this like middle-aged, overweight dude with a mustache and like glasses who owns a convenience store, and like people keep coming after him and stuff, and he has to, but it looks hilarious and really, really cool.
Okay.
So Sakamoto Days.
Yeah. I remember when the manga came out and I saw it in the store and I flipped through it. I was considering it, and then I didn't jump in, and then got more popular or whatever. So
yeah. No, so it's supposed to be excellent. I'm super excited about that one. That one's coming. That's one of the one like it's going to be like really popular and like people are really hyping it. Some of these shows that come both to Crunchyroll and Netflix. This is one of those ones like Dandadan that's coming to both. So I just have a feeling it's going to be a kind of a big one.
Interesting.
This one I've been reading about. It sounds stupid, but I think it's actually going to be. I mean, it doesn't sound stupid, but it's one of those super long ones that sounds silly. It's called. I think it's gonna be good. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome. But I love a good dungeon crawler anime. So, they got me. I'm the target audience for sure. So yeah, it comes out on January 11th. Those are all my January anime that are coming out like over the next couple weeks. It's gonna be. I don't think
it's gonna be packed January.
For a couple weeks. So yeah. Sit and watch an anime.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a lot. Andrea, some of those interest you, or you have other things you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I was scrolling through the winter 2025, news, and a couple of those, like the last one Phil mentioned. I'm not going to repeat the title for everybody's sake. I thought was a cute twist on the a lot of dungeon themed.
Yep.
I noticed that again. There's a lot of like solo leveling esque, like I'm very weak, but in this I'm which I'm very over, except for I love solo leveling.
Oh, I love it.
It's so good.
Good.
Yeah. And I also looked at Honey Lemon Soda, and I thought that was cute too.
I'm still surprised that you guys both like solo leveling so much. I just couldn't.
Good.
I couldn't do it.
They get
like it?
They get there so much faster. They make it so much more interesting.
You haven't tried it? You've only read the
I tried it, and I don't know how many episodes I got in. And I just I am not watching another anime with this kind of exposition and talking to themselves and stuff. I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it right now. It's
all right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's good though. It's just so well animated. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I know. It's got the cool
action scenes. Incredible.
Power stuff in it and everything, but
every anime though has somebody talking to themselves.
Yeah,
they don't have to.
There's so much in Dandadan.
It's his inner monologue. He's not talking.
Yeah,
but
like, especially in these last episodes,
is crazy.
Yes.
Solo leveling is very sane.
But it's more serious, generally speaking. Yeah. It's like it's supposed to be a cool action show. When I'm watching, we're watching Dragon Ball Z. That's mostly what we're watching, and that you just have fun with it. It's just it's going to you kind of place it in the time period it came out in, and there's lots of ridiculous things in there, and
Sure.
but it's fun, and it's worth the, for the inspirational moments and stuff like that. Solo Leveling, I was going in it, and it's got some really cool looking things. It's got some scary monsters, all sort of things. But it's based on that. It's asking me to take it more seriously. Dandadan from the get go, from the opening, from the animation style, the whole thing is it's nonsense.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they might hit you with something, but it's basically nonsense.
Yeah. No,
so
for sure.
You need fun. And so I will excuse poor writing, I guess, because I'm not supposed to take it seriously. I don't know.
Sure. Fair enough. I still think.
I mean,
Solo
I feel like that's a big blanket statement, like for a very common thing in anime.
Yeah.
Is characters talking to themselves.
There's a level like
they a lot narrate their inner lives.
Like in the last season of Jujutsu Kaisen, there were moments, but they were moments. It wasn't like all the time,
Yeah, but I think we've talked about this before. You're going to have more of it in the beginning, unless they're setting up the premise and the world and the.
Yeah, like Dandadan, I feel like was very heavy in the beginning and the end.
Sure.
Like these last couple episodes, there was a lot of inner monologuing going on once we got a new character.
True.
That was possibly a romantic rival. Like there was a lot of inner monologuing.
Let's talk about Dandadan then. I will try to get something pulled up here.
Oh, can I just say one more thing before that, John?
Yeah.
I also have. I'll just mention one other one. I have a whole list of anime that are coming out in 2025. There's no release dates. So I'll save those for another pod. We can talk about them as they get closer. But one I do want to mention, because I said I was going to mention Cowboy Bebop, and we already talked about it, but there's a show coming out this year called Lazarus that's made by what's-his-face, who did Cowboy Bebop.
Watanabe, yeah.
Yes, thank you. That guy. Looks cool. So I just want to throw it out there for all those Cowboy Bebop fans.
I hope it's cool, because I typically like everything that he has done except for Carol and Tuesday. I gave that a try. That was, to my knowledge, his last one.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a stickler about anime music stuff in terms of like them performing. It's hard to do that accurately or well. And he did before Kids on the Slope, which is all about that, like a group of kids playing, and I thought did very well. I really absolutely sold that. So I don't know, just maybe I had to give him more of a chance. It just didn't live up to the standard I hoped from him.
Sure.
So
well, this one seems more in line with his stuff he's done before. It's like set in 2052. There's like a miracle drug that's discovered that lets people live forever, but then 3.5 years later, people start dying, and I don't know. It's supposed to be really good, and it's also MAPPA's like involved somewhat if they're producing or making it, or I don't know, something. But it's going to be on the Toonami block this 2025.
Right.
So, anyway, something to look out for. It looks quite good.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to get a screen share here so we can, like I say, something else to look at too. Here we go. Okay, so Dandadan. We'll have spoilers with Dandadan here. I'll put that up so people are aware.
Yes.
What's that?
Yes, spoiler bar. Perfect.
Yes.
Gotta have it.
So I found the manga Dandadan, I think, because I saw the bright colors quite a while ago when it was coming out, and happy that they came to make an anime of it so quickly. And I did go through a moment where just as we were talking, I'm like, Dandadan, they do absolutely break some of my rules now of over inner monologuing and some of that.
Sure.
It's
Sometimes
just,
things are so well done in other areas that it's like, whatever, I can get past it.
yeah. And so it's just, it's the tone of the show. It works for me yet. So yeah. What you guys think? Oh, so first, we did talk previously, talking about the first few episodes, and I think we came away from it thinking pretty
First 5, I think.
Yeah.
And so this is the tail end here. It's not a super long season.
Yeah.
How do we think it continued?
Yeah, my kind of initial overall thoughts is, I mean, my general thought is that I love the whole season. I mean, every episode was excellent. And I also think that it's a kind of a hard anime to cut into seasons because they have these like 3 or 4 episode arcs of things happening. It's like you have the Turbo Granny arc, and then you have the ballerina dancer arc, and then you have with
favorite.
Sorry,
favorite. That was my favorite arc.
Oh yeah, that's so good. It's tragic, sad, but and then you have this this new arc, you know, and you get these new characters kind of introduced each arc, and then they gain these like supernatural powers, and they kind of had to cut it right as you're getting into this new little mini arc with her friend from childhood and his house being haunted, and then the season had to end on like a major cliffhanger, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just wish we had been able to get through. I just wish the season maybe had been like 16 episodes, which I know is like an atypical number of episodes for an anime season, but that would have been able to finish off that arc too. And then that would have been a better stopping point, I feel like, for a season, but you know.
They could have, I mean, they also could have stopped after 10 and like made that like an early, you know what I mean? Yeah. They stopped at a very awkward point.
I thought so.
If I would have a criticism of the season.
It's like in the middle of an arc, or it's like
it's very much like it's very much just like a normal like, oh, okay, like we're gonna go into the next episode, except you don't. It's so weird.
Yeah. That's my general thoughts initially.
Yeah, this
Otherwise,
back half. Yeah, the back half I got into. I was not expecting to just absolutely bawl my eyes out at this acrobatic silky storyline, but I did.
Really sad.
For how silly this show is and how like over the top and ridiculous. Like I just was not expecting the very well done emotional gut punch. And yeah, no, not ashamed. I cried a lot. It was so good, and it was so
dangerously dehydrated.
But yeah, I mean, even just like apart from the story arc, like the camera work for this, like, you know, this, I mean, I guess spoilers, this like panicked woman running after her child and like that sort of like frenzied, oh God, that was so good. All of that. So yeah, all of that was my favorite. Also, I enjoyed this new character, Ira, that we get in, you know, her whole like rivalry with Momo and all of that. I was enjoying all of that. So like shifting at the end of the season and then cutting it off, I did not love. I wish it would have like wrapped up earlier, or, you know, continued, and maybe like she comes back and busts in on their, you know, excursion to Gigi's house. So yeah. So I was very much there and like rolling with that like story arc, and rolling with, you know, Turbo Granny is in the cat, and then like they just kind of like faded for these last 2 episodes. Yeah. And I was just sort of like, where'd you go?
Yeah.
You know, I had a thought though, Andrew. So you haven't read the manga at all, right? You don't know what's coming. Okay. I was realizing just as you were talking that I do know what's coming, because I have read not all the manga, but I've read certainly at least another season's worth of manga beyond where they ended the season, and so I do know what's coming. And I guess I don't read a ton of manga, so this isn't common for me to know what's going to come next.
Right.
And maybe if I was thinking maybe if I hadn't read the manga, I'd be like, oh, well, that seems like a perfectly fine place to stop. But you're also saying you didn't think so and you haven't. Okay, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be my one criticism, like regardless of knowing whether or not, something is coming and like,
Right.
these
You
characters
still felt like it was
these
a weird
characters
thing,
are these characters are obviously not going away. Like that's clear to me. Like they're not just disappearing, but it was just very odd
She
timing
dies.
wise.
She gets drowned.
She's just done. Yeah.
And then she's not in the anime anymore. It's weird. It's a strange creative direction to go, but
yeah,
obviously she's right.
Yeah, she does, and such a cool like way to survive too. You know what I mean? Like tying like the soul's like energy, and then her getting the acrobatic Silky's powers. That was fun.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant.
Momo
being drowned. Yeah, Momo. I thought.
Yeah, just drowns in the hot spring.
Yeah, right. And she's dead. Yeah.
I think.
They're like a wolf pack. They just rip her to pieces.
Right.
And done.
Yeah. Right.
I think they could have easily ended it in a spot that made sense. They just chose to end on a cliffhanger. And
True.
The thing is, we're getting season 2, which is
quick.
kind of the second half of season 1 in a sense. Pretty quick, So it's just a different pacing. It's like, the Matrix Reloaded ended on a big cliffhanger because the Matrix Revolutions came out 6 months later. It's
True.
like so.
Yeah. I feel like that's such a dangerous thing, though. You still, even if something's coming out soon, you have to do it right enough that people are talking about it in a excited way and not a like WTF way. And that's sort of how I felt here. Like even though it's going to be soon and it will be resolved, I'm still just sort of like, that was an odd creative choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm excited though because I up until now, like this show is. The themes are scary, but it's not actually like a scary show, if that makes sense. Like aliens, spirits,
designs and stuff in it,
Sorry, wait.
Oh, there are creepy designs and everything,
yes.
Of monsters and ghouls and whatever. But yeah, it's
not meant to be like a horror anime. But I will say that what's coming up next is, I think, some of the scarier content, like that house that they're trying to exorcise and stuff, like, and that. Yeah, it's cool. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be great.
I mean, they casually hint at that when Gigi is like, we hired all of these people to exercise the house and they committed suicide. Yeah. It's like, geez.
Yeah, it's a goofy show, but there's dark themes.
Yes,
in it, like all over the place. It's
I mean, obviously the storyline that I love, ends pretty dark.
Yeah.
It's it's a redemptive moment, but in between, like the end is very dark.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's bring up there's someone in the chat. Thanks for being here, IDK. He's also watched Dandadan, so thanks for being here. Let us know what you think, what you thought of it. He says he hasn't read the manga either.
Beastars season 3. That's right. I haven't watched that in a hot minute.
The other thing I wanted to address was the scene you were talking about, Andrea, that when I read in the manga, it didn't have the same impact. So I think they did a really spectacular job dealing with the acrobatic Silky and the whole thing. And it's really made for us as new parents. I was in the doctor the other day, and there was just, it's amazing what it's done. It was a young girl, or whatever, with her dad and stuff like that. And I don't know what was wrong with her, but she seemed like she was uncomfortable or in pain. I just immediately thinking of my own kids and feel super sad for her. And so this was really, not only was it extra impactful to me dealing with the child story here, but it was so well done. It's one of the, I told Ashley, it's like, that's maybe one of the most beautiful scenes in an anime I've ever witnessed. Like just the whole, I don't know how long the segment was, but the way the music for it was spectacular. It was like, there was a scene in the early part of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen that was very beautiful, very nice, eloquent. The music was good. It was, it was great. But this is like hold my beer, because the like
So much better.
dancing through the like water and star reflection and all that sort of thing. Like it's just a whole sequence that to me was flawless.
Yeah.
Good. So they really did the manga justice, and I think brought it up another level. It's all it's like it shows you the benefit of moving to animated if done well, because adding that music, that motion was really something else. So I'm very high marks for a show that in general is absolutely just nuts and relatively meaningless and whatever, and that's fine. But then to just throw something like this every once in a while, like that's just great.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, like, and that's why I think I like got so emotional about it. I was like, it was just so out of nowhere, but it was so well done.
Very nice. Yes. IDK, thank you for the subscription.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. What else here? So we met some new characters. What do we think of Gigi here?
I like him. I mean, I already knew he was going to be kind of a weirdo from the manga, but I mean, he's not weird. He's just goofy. It's a little bit over the top, but so is the anime. So
he's not my favorite new character of the back season.
I think it takes him a little bit to grow on you. I feel like, but
yeah, I like him also, and also he's too new for me to definitively form an opinion. Obviously, this next story arc is going to be bigger for him. So
yeah, it's I'll be honest. So this part is what we're coming up to in the manga is where I started to think maybe I'm not gonna keep buying this. Maybe
really interesting.
Yeah. And then we got past it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. And this last volume I read was maybe the best yet. So, so yeah, I'm excited for it to continue, but knowing that it's my least favorite part, all of it so far. So,
fair enough.
So it's going to be like exposition at the beginning of any anime. You just got to get through it, get through a couple, and see if you still actually like it.
Yeah, I don't mean to be too big of a stickler on the exposition, but I kind of am now. I just it's time is precious, guys. Time is precious.
Yeah.
And,
true.
I got my new pet peeves. So, I know Ashley was very interested in meeting. Like it seemed like a lot of episodes before we got the cat. We'd see the cat in the end credits, and
sure,
when are we gonna meet the cat? It's like,
oh yeah,
I'm sure it'll be probably in the next episode. And then it wasn't. I was like, oh, it's the next episode. So it's a while for Turbo Grannies to be in the cat.
Yeah.
But I like Turbo Granny as the cat.
Oh, 100%.
That's good.
It's a great character. It's very clever.
I like also how this show, and the manga takes real life yokai or aliens or whatever, urban legends stuff.
Yeah.
Does their own interpretation of. That's cool.
Yeah, agreed.
And like in the back of the manga, they'll often explain a little bit more about one of the creatures or whatever.
Yep.
Sure.
That's quite good.
Let's see. I'm not a fan of immediately my thing is the love triangle. I'm all me. I'm always
which love triangle. Or both
with Gigi.
Okay.
Gigi. I'm like
I am a huge fan of the love triangle with
There's
Ira.
lots of love triangles.
I think it's hilarious. I think her whole like I'm super beautiful. I have this like golden ball given to me by heaven. I'm gonna exorcise demons. Freaking hilarious. Like she was so committed to it and so like believed in it and just like kept it going even when stuff was like super obvious. Like,
yeah,
she was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
like I really enjoyed that arc, and I loved her like, oh no, I'm chosen by heaven and I'm in love with a demon now. It's so wrong. Like super funny. And normally I don't like, oh no, like we found each other in like a awkward situation and it's a super big misunderstanding. But I found their exchange very funny. So I didn't mind it. I was a little annoyed that like Momo wasn't listening, and I was like, just shut up and let him talk, man. But like the setup of that I thought was very funny. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to have her come back.
I mean, it's like partially like romantic comedy. Like, I mean, it's supposed to have a romantic bend to it, obviously.
Yeah. I just always like, let them be happy. Let them get together. But it doesn't always work that way. Yeah. Let's see. She was a big shift. I agree. I'm on board with all the like her weirdness now, but it's such a weird shift from how we first were introduced to her. So it's interesting how we have that with characters sometimes. But she's like, she was the stuck up. I'm gonna just, he'll be happy just because I talked to him, kind of like pretty bad, and then such a radical shift.
Yeah.
But like, I guess that was such a great setup for her believing like, I'm so pretty. I've been chosen.
Right.
By heaven.
Sometimes the stuck-up pretty popular girl is also the super religious girl. There's an overlap in the Venn diagram of girls in high schools. There's some overlap there.
Yep. She also clearly like, and I'm not saying this is every girl either, but like she also clearly didn't have a whole lot going on in the ways of logic and reasoning. She was like very, one-dimensional and kind of like, and she's like evolving tiny bits, which is more realistic than having some super huge switch of like, I'm the center of the universe and Momo is a demon who I must defeat. Like she always saw them as rivals, so it makes sense. But yeah. I dig it.
BK in the chat, what do you think about the newer companions here so we got Ira and Gigi. You a fan of either of them?
Gigi's all right, but he really changed in the manga.
Yeah, okay. I didn't see that. I mean, I like sometimes stuff can feel more zany when brought, given a voice. Versus like reading it in your head, but
true. I thought he was pretty. Maybe he means he changes later on in the manga.
I'm okay. IDK, if you want to spoil a little part. Oh no, John's not okay.
Well,
sorry.
No.
Well,
I've read it, so if you're okay with it, That,
I don't know how far he is versus where I am at. I'm not as far as John. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm caught up, and it's great. So
okay, cool.
Okay, what else we have to say about the show? I just was very happy that the tone seemed to match, and they gave me exactly what I was looking for, and covered the first 5 episodes. I thought they had met that, and then they continued to in the latter half of the season as well. And I'm ready for more. The animation is good. The characters are zany. We keep getting the kind of growing crew of nutso people and different aliens, and it's been a weekly dose of fun. And
absolutely,
except for the one session of crying. Yes.
Right. But, good cry can be cathartic. Maybe not fun, but.
Yeah. And that's how they got to, throw it in there, surprise me. Yeah. Because it's less common. I'm going to sit down and put myself through that on purpose. So.
Sure. Yeah, same. Okay. Don't watch, just a little word of the wise then. Don't watch Mary Poppins Returns. Just don't do it.
I wasn't playing.
Okay. I was just Googling something, so I missed that segue.
John was saying it was interesting to snuck it in there because he wouldn't normally sit down to watch something that would like make him cry.
Oh yeah.
And I said, well, then do yourself a favor and don't watch Mary Poppins Returns.
I see.
Have you
Okay.
seen it, Andrea?
No.
Well, there's a part in there that I was like not prepared for, so that really hit home for me. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's traumatic when they do that in movies. Like,
I know.
You know, to use the most common example, the first 10 minutes of Up.
Oh,
Just that's like a full on slap in the face.
We just watched that like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Dana and I were both like, low key crying in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, "What's wrong with you guys?" And we're like, "This is sad." Okay.
Had you ever watched that before?
I had, but I think I never watched it. I think when you're like you have kids and you're like long relationship, it just hits a little harder.
Yeah. I feel like the first time I watched that, I was just so unprepared that it was just like, like,
yeah. You've seen Up, John, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was Googling is, I felt like, Dandadan had won some like, fan awards and things like that, or like, voting polls, and Momo ISA had like won favorite female character of 2024 in
that's cool.
The Anime Trending Awards, and it's up for something, and she's up in another like character kind of fan polling awards and stuff like that. So
best girl.
Yep. So I mean, just I feel like it's a great show with like very real characters.
Yeah.
We talked about that
lots of
last
erotic phalluses.
Yeah.
As evidenced in this still right here.
Yes.
But
I loved part of this like back episode though, was like back part of the episodes was like our main characters not only like sometimes crushing aliens / demons, but also like taking in this weird group of strays, like taking in the like shrimp dude.
Oh yeah.
Like the mannequin. I mean, it was just like even Turbo Granny, like they just sort of sometimes are like, well, maybe we don't need to, banish you. We can just help you out.
Yeah.
Or we can fuse with your spirit and become a really new, cool version of Acrobatic Silky.
Definitely.
So, yeah. Well, just fun, just to have like different solutions and different approaches sometimes. Sometimes they're very like, we have such great empathy for you, even though you're, a half-naked mannequin person, something.
Yep.
Which is also yokai in Japan as well. Like,
oh really?
Yeah.
Funny.
Okay.
Yeah. I really appreciate the little things that they do that are so funny and clever. Like when they're in the school turns into a water world, and she's like, I'll just squeeze your wet, naked body with my spirit hand, and
like a slippery fish.
It's like, that's just gold and hilarious and weird. It's so good.
Yes. I thought it was very funny that they used a fish analogy. That I also, for some reason, envisioned a bar of soap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. Like, it's like
yeah. Oh yeah, that was very funny. It was very visceral. Like I was like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's also quite funny, like the positions they put these kids in that no real teenager would ever be able to live down. Like they all of a sudden just end up on the floor of the school all wet and like half naked. I mean, Ken is naked. So Okarun is naked, and Moa's in her underwear. It's just like, you'd have to change schools.
Right.
Probably.
And then like, suddenly the popular girls there with them also have naked.
Yeah,
like,
just, it would be so, I mean, obviously they were obviously quite embarrassed, but it's like a whole other level. That's insane.
I saw people were saying they like sort of mimicked the running of one of the Titans from Attack on Titan in that scene when they're all running through the hallway in the school.
Oh, sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a few call outs to that sort of thing. Like I think they imitate like a clip of Rihanna dancing in the intro video.
Oh,
Momo's little dance move where she kind of jumps
Oh,
towards
sure,
the camera.
yeah.
That's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
thing. So there's a few little like other
yeah.
culture references.
hmm
A little sneaky.
cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I just think that we maybe talked about last time too, but it can get stale when you do the people that are the awkward kid that likes whoever, and they will never admit their feelings and all this sort of thing. That can get stale and repetitive, and it doesn't in this, because they get thrown into too many like crazy situations and adventures, and like they do manage to have like heart to hearts, and there is progress and some of that in terms of like there's plenty of anime where Okarum would just never say anything or never admit any. We go through 2 seasons before he
Right.
that he liked her,
Yep.
Mhm.
and so the pacing of that is good, and the interactions are good, and
hmm
Yeah, I think it's helpful in that way to have his inner monologue, because he is using that of a time to say like, I'm going to declare my feelings, like I'm gonna take action, and we don't have that from Momo. We can definitely see her like having moments of realizations or like little like, oh, but we don't have as directly. So I feel like we have a more, someone who's like realized it and is going to do something, and someone who quite hasn't, and they're going to like meet somewhere at some point. But it's interesting that they're not both, totally avoiding it, or like just sharing the moment and then completely walking away from it.
Yep.
So it's they're going to get there, but it's like 2 different journeys, and I like that.
And like instead of falling, I don't remember which episode this was, but like instead of falling into her boobs, they clang teeth.
Yeah.
They basically run into one another, and
So it's like episode 2 or 3 or something. Yeah.
It's funny.
Freaking adorable.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, very good. IDK, so you turn on notifications, see when live stream is season 2 for the show. We'll appreciate that. That would be a while, but notification can be on for when we talk about who knows what next for anime. But before I say
There's so much to choose from.
I know, yes. Is there anything else we must say about Dandadan? Like I've had my high praise, liked a lot. You guys,
the only thing I'll say is like when we stopped at episode 5, and that's all I knew of Dandadan, I was very mixed. I was a little more like, Phil was like, I can't wait to watch every week, and I was like, I watched because you guys were interested, and I found enjoyment in binging it, but I'm not like woohoo. Like now I am.
Sure.
Now,
Okay,
even with the awkward ending, like I very much am invested in this, and I really like it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Well, what will we talk about next? I don't know.
We'll just have to all watch all those shows I mentioned and then decide together, probably.
All right, see you in freaking June.
Well, it's only going to be 1 episode at a time only 1 episode per show per week. That's like
okay, but we mentioned shows that were coming out in July, so I guess not even June.
Those ones. Just the January shows.
I kid.
Well, I think for all of us, we can say that one is Apothecary. We'll all be watching Apothecary. So obviously. The question is, when will that come out in English? Because we will probably also watch that in English.
Yes, I would like to.
A couple weeks behind or something like that. But,
obviously, we're all going to watch
Wet Blankets.
I'm secretly a S-ranked monster in my Elf Girls.
I'm definitely going to try it.
Or whatever.
Do you just throw adjectives in there because you can remember?
It's something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll definitely try it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Keep us up to date on what what you both give a look at, what seems worth it. Only the best, because there's no time for mediocre.
Okay, I'll try, John. I'm turned into just like your anime tester.
Yeah.
And only if I'm just like raving about something, you're like, I guess Phil's like very excited. Settle down, Phil. Simmer down. I guess I'll try it. You want some time?
Well, not even necessarily.
Even
that.
I was
then,
gonna
you
say, not
often don't
even
watch
then.
it. No, sometimes it actually causes you to not watch it. So
No, I don't.
Wrong
I
one.
Blue Eyed
That's
Samurai.
so good. You
I don't think
watch
it's ever. I don't think that's happened yet. Where it's like, oh, because Phil's raving about it, I won't watch it.
Blue Eye Samurai.
Right.
I wasn't gonna watch it anyways.
Which
It
one?
just matter
Rings of Power?
what.
Blue Eye
how-
Samurai.
Blue Eye Samurai.
You tried so hard, Phil.
Yeah, but it wasn't
You never did.
because
You never watched Blue Eye Samurai? Samurai?
No.
I have.
It's called no John. John.
Yeah, no.
He hasn't. He never did. Rings of Power. Anybody? Rings of Power.
Now you're pushing it because you're not even referencing anime right now.
This argument we have persists across podcast formats and types.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It's fair. I have
find out.
shows like that too, so that's fair. That's fair.
That's
yeah.
fine.
Well. I definitely have things that you've watched that I mean to get to. I really want to
I
get
know.
to.
I'm just teasing you, John.
Kingdoms
It's all good.
one, and the elusive samurai.
Oh, yeah. I never did finish that. Ooh.
Okay. See, maybe that was not good enough. Maybe that was not good enough.
It's good. I don't know. I think I don't know. Sometimes you just kind of get. I'm gonna pick it back up. I plan to continue it. I just kind of got off the horse there.
I really want to get into Heavenly Delusion. I bought
Yeah.
that on
Yeah. Heavenly Delusion
or
is
whatever because it's
excellent.
my favorite manga. But you guys you're right. Whoever's saying, like you got to be careful with how things cut off because when the manga ended in Heavenly Delusion, it was my favorite manga I've ever read, basically, other than one thing. And now I have the latest volume and I have not touched it yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's such it was delayed and it was delayed and it's such a delay and I have something so I can get back into it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. Like you get in a fever about something and then like once you're fully out, it's really hard. Like something blocks in your head and you can't get back in.
Yeah. Especially sometimes it's worse when it grabs you so hard.
Yeah. When it's
like
so
reading a
good.
book and it's done, and then you go through that like it's over.
Mhm.
You have a hole in your life for a while, and then you move on.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, thank you both for being here. Phil, for the list of upcoming. We got lots of stuff to look forward to. Heidi, thank you for being in the chat, contributing, and following us. We appreciate that very much. We'll be back within a week, next week, whatever, on the regular show, Popcast on the Rock. We got to finish up Dune Prophecy. So just one episode left of that remaining. Talk about that episode and then the season as a whole. We'll find out that if it included or we're getting more or whatever. And yeah, and that'll be it. That's it from us, guys. I appreciate it. Happy New Year. And,
it's not it from me. IDK, go watch Blue Eye Samurai.
Oh yeah. Come on, Blue Eyes. Come on, IDK. Let's get it together.
I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to cut you off.
It's too late.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.